All right. So as usual, first we are going to go through the pre-scene, which I have already highlighted and shared with you as well, so that we can have the better idea of the industry and the company, so that we can solve the case study, right? So here we have the pre-scene with us. Mhm. Yes, the pre-scene which was applicable for the December to 2023 exam. Here's the index or the content, introduction of the company, and then we have the information about the industry overview, statistics, model or the service models, the delivery style, benefits which are provided to the client through this industry or the services which are provided in this industry, challenges, development, innovation, and the KPIs. Sort of very familiar or similar sort of pre-scene which we have been already seeing in the last passport practice session as well. So the NCTech overview, it is the company whose case study we are going to attempt today. We have the background, ownership, vision, mission, corporate values, board structure, risk register, strategic position, and the performance dashboard. So again, similar sort of information. The only thing which is missing here is the website extract, which is usually found in the pre-scene, but here we do not have. So it's fine. If it is not, it is not. Moving forward. By the other pages. Yes. So we have the introduction of the company. It is a company which is very well known for the cloud services. So basically we are going to study the cloud services or the cloud service industry in this paper. The country name is Ireland. It is a developed country and it is a home to many technological companies. So basically this company, the technological aspect is very advanced. Is there anyone who is saying something? Okay. All right. So if someone has, if there is some sort of requirement in the question regarding the SWOT or pestle analysis, so we all know it is the economic factor and this is the technological factor. It was founded by 3 software engineers initially. It has shown the dramatic growth during its first 10 years. These 3 founders or the owners, they occupied the positions of the chief executive, commercial director, and the operation director when they formed the company, and they occupied the seats of the board of directors. So basically in the start there were only 3 directors, and these 3 directors belongs to the technological background, and they occupied the positions of the chief executive officer, commercial director, and the operation directors, right? So initially there were only 3 directors, all 3 were the owners. All right. So the industry overview, we have the cloud service companies offers data storage facility, the number 1, with many also providing a range of computing services over the internet, which is called cloud, to the user organization. So this is the background about the services which are delivered in this industry. Competitive pricing, making the cloud services a financially viable option for the client organization of the all size, because this is a home to technological companies, this country. So obviously the competition is going to be tough, and this competition is giving the benefit to the customers in terms of the reduced prices. All right. So in this industry, it is established industry, more than a decade has passed since its operations, and this industry is continued to grow, right? The market players, there are small, medium-sized enterprises and also the individual professional as well who are operating in this industry. We have the key statistics of the 2000X2, the percentage of client data stored in the cloud. Now let me just give you a brief background about the cloud storage or cloud computing. It is basically outsourcing arrangement. We all have studied this thing, the cloud computing topic, in which we have studied that we outsource the storage facility or the computing facility from a cloud storage or cloud service provider company. So this is actually a topic which we have studied, turned into the whole case study. So it's going to be very interesting. So the global statistics and the Farland statistics. Whole around the globe, the percentage of the client data which is stored on the cloud is 52%, whereas 38% of the client data you prefer to store on the cloud storage rather than building the infrastructure and the storage facility in house. Total annual revenue generated by the all cloud services provider globally $155 billion and Farland $8.3 billion. So it is around more than 5% of the global percentage, right? So it seems a substantial market. Top 10 cloud services company share of market. That means that globally, top 10 cloud computing services company occupies the 74% of the market share, and in Farland it is 85. That means that the top 10 player, they are consolidating the market, they are acquiring all the shares, right? Models. So there are three service models. Number one, IaaS, PaaS, and the SaaS. Now, what do we mean by these things? Obviously, these are the technical jargons of the technological industry. That is why ACCA has given you the information regarding them in the pre-scene. So when I talk about the IaaS, by name it is clear that the infrastructure as a service. So the cloud computing or the cloud storage facility providers, they gives other companies the infrastructure, which includes the storage facilities, data centers, hardwares, and the software which are used to store the data, right? So this is basically a storage facility or the infrastructure for the storage. So the companies who are required to use this facility, they don't need to build the infrastructure. They are just going to rent out the infrastructure from the storage facility providers. All right, are we clear on it? Can you please confirm me through the chat? Okay. And then we have the PaaS. So when I talk about the PaaS, that means the platform as a service. Obviously, whenever we interact with the technology, there is always a platform or the interface through which we are interacting. Obviously, even if the Zoom meeting, we all know the code or the some sort of computer language are run behind the interface, which we do not understand, obviously. So what do? They make a platform or the interface for us to interact with. So when you are just storing the data, you don't need to interact with any interface. You are just storing your data like a warehouse. Okay. But then you ask for the platform as well, that I will be using this data center as a platform to interact with the data as well. So now the service provider is giving you the platform as well to interact with the data, not only the storage of the data. So this is that thing, the operating system to run their applications. So basically they give you a platform on which you interact with the data rather than only storing them. Are we clear with the PaaS thing? SJ, I will give the example. I will definitely. Now we have the SAS, storage, platform, and also the application. So here what they do, they provides you the storage facility as well, and then they give you a platform through which you can interact with the data, and then they also provide you some applications through which you can perform analysis or the computation or whatever operation you want to do with the data. All right, getting my point? So let me give you a layman example. This is the example which I have studied like few years ago. For example, if you buy a land, you just buy you bought a land, and then you will go there. You have to build the house. You have to connect the plumbing things or the pipelines, electricity, colors, everything you have to do. And then when you have developed the house, then you will bring in the furnitures, apply them as per your needs. Okay. So when I talk about the infrastructure as a service, it only includes the land. The other things, the client will arrange themselves. The service provider will provide you a land just to store your data. All right. Now, when I move forward one step ahead, PaaS, that means that the platform as a service. So now here, the service provider will not only give you the land, they will also give you the house which is built properly, the pipelines, electricity, everything is done. You just have to come, apply your furnitures and your accessories, your things which are useful to you as per your convenience, as per your preference, and start living it. And then when I talk about the SaaS, that means that the software as a service. It is like that you buy a well furnished apartment. Everything is installed there, and you just have to go and live, use their services. Like that means that the land is provided to you, the house is built by them, all the arrangements are made by them, the furnitures, the things which are useful to you, everything is provided by them as per their need, and you are using them. You are not bringing anything from your side. Ashish is saying not clear. Ashish, which thing is not clear? Can you please tell me which one? Interaction with the data means that accessing the data and retrieving the data. For example, let me give you one more example. How many of you know that in even in the computer or the mobile we need an operating system? That means that in Microsoft or the Android there is an operating system. In also the computer we have the Microsoft operating system, the Windows, which we install first. Before installing the Windows we cannot interact with the computer. Ashish, do you know about it? Yes. So this is basically the platform, right? The platform through which you interact with the data or the computer, right? And then moving forward, for example, I need to use Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel. So this is my application things, right? So I have to install the application software then. And these are the application software which are for my utility, for my application onto the data, whatever I need to do with it, right? So this is the same thing that the platform is basically your operating system, right? Like Windows, they are giving you the operating system as well. So you are able to access and retrieve the data, because just storing it, for example, you have one USB, you have the data into the USB, but can you see it? Can you read it? Can you show it to someone? Ashish, can you through the USB only? No, obviously you need some sort of platform on which you can retrieve this data, isn't it? So this is basically the difference between the IaaS and PaaS. In IaaS, they just give you a USB, store into it, but you cannot retrieve it. But in PaaS, they gives you a platform as well, that you can use our platform to retrieve the data. You don't need to bring your operating system. But sometimes client says that no, we don't need it. We have our own operating system. We will just store the data into your systems or the data centers, and then we will retrieve it using our operating systems. Okay, perfect. So now let's move forward. Here they are saying that the SaaS, it's a premium service and obviously the most expensive thing, because you are giving them all the facilities. So here is a summary as well of these services. Like for the provision of data servers, it is done in IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, in all three. Data storage facilities also, it is provided in this and this. Without this is the basic thing. Like in PaaS, it is required. In SaaS, it is obviously required if you're going for these things. For the networking resources, IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, all three models, it is given to the client. But communication software, the communication software with the data, it is not given in the IaaS, because in IaaS you are only given the storage facility. So it is there in the PaaS and in SaaS as well. Operating system, not here, because you are not allowed to operate the data on the servers of the service provider. In PaaS, yes, you are given this thing in SaaS as well. And the data software application, they are given in the SaaS thing. In exam, you are not going to be asked these technical things. These are just to give you the backgrounds, right? Google Drive at SaaS, no SJ, because you cannot perform any analysis using the Google Drive. It is the PaaS thing, because you can store the data and you can retrieve it, you can open it, you can read it, you can show it to everyone. The Google Drive is PaaS thing. The cloud service delivery, there are three ways: the public cloud, private cloud, and the hybrid cloud. Let me just summarize them quickly so that we can save our time. The public cloud is that, for example, I have one data center. In one data center, I can store the data of multiple clients. They do not have any issue that they are saying that yes, you can store our data along with the data of the other clients. So this is the public cloud, right? And there is an option of scalability in the public cloud. That means that you can pay as you use. That means that there is no fixed cost, fixed charges. The more the storage you need, the more you have to pay. The lesser you need, the lesser you will pay. So you can scale up and you can scale down. But in the private cloud, for example, there is a very big company, I would say Unilever, PNG. They are the competitors of each other. What do you think? Would they allow any service provider to store their data into the same servers or the same data centers? Obviously not. They will not allow this thing. So they buy the services for the private cloud, the private data centers where the data is separately stored in the dedicated servers and the infrastructure. Are you getting my point? Guys, can you please confirm me this thing? Okay. And then there is the obviously there's few things also written here, but I'm not just going into details of the information which is required for the solving of case study. I'm giving you this information in a quick manner. And then we have the hybrid cloud. Obviously it's a combination of the private and the public cloud. What do they do? The general type of data or the information, it is stored in the public cloud, and the confidential or the important aspects of the data, they are stored in the private cloud. So this gives you the flexibility and the cost saving things, that you are not incurring the high cost for the general data. You can store it in the public cloud, and then there is the confidential or the important data that you are storing into the private clouds, right? So this is the flexible option you have. And then we have the benefits of the cloud services to the client, not to the company. There are many. Number one is the scalability. We all know this thing. The instant access to the cloud services. Obviously, what do I mean by this? That if you want to build the infrastructure or the storage facilities, obviously you have to buy the place, buy the data centers, hardware, software, the whole infrastructure, IT team, and then you have to establish everything. It will take a time. But the cloud service provider, you can just go to them, do a contract, and there you go. You have the access. So it is very instant access. Enhanced security measures, which reduces the threats. Obviously, the cloud service provider, they are expert into it. So they have the enhanced security measures as compared to the company who is establishing the in-house data center or the service data storage centers. Can be accessed and processed at any time at any remote location. Obviously, it's a cloud. So cloud, anytime, any location. That is what I mean by the cloud. Client can share data easily and support collaborative working. Obviously, the team which is present at the different location, they can share the data with each other, and then they can collaborate. Just like the Google Drive, on which I update things frequently and tell you guys that it is updated, and you can go to the Google Drive and access the notes and the material, and we can collaborate through the Google Drive, right? And then we have, it is reducing the need for client to employ more expensive IT specialists, obviously, because they are outsourcing this thing. And obviously, when you are outsourcing this thing and there is a specialized cloud service providers, the economies of scale, they would be realizing it, and then they would be passing on this thing to the customers. Client do not require expensive space to accommodate hardware. Obviously, it's a fixed cost of the premises where you are establishing your in-house data centers. So these were the benefits which are given to the client through this cloud services. Now we have the challenges and the development in the industry. The sector is growing very rapidly and is anticipated to double in size. So what they are having the challenge, that the nature and the extent of the competition within the industry is likely to change considerably over this period, with the client demand more challenging to satisfy. Obviously, when the industry would grow, the innovation would arise, the demands of the client would increase because of the high competition and the innovation and the advancement. So they are so this is the challenge, that how the companies are going to cater it and how they are going to adjust themselves into this rapidly growing environment. Global competition is emerging. That means that the global companies, the large companies, they are also now entering into the farland industry or the farland market. So that means that the competition would grow, and obviously they are the global company, they are the large company, they would have a advanced facilities and more resources. Okay. Clients are highly dependent on the reliable high internet speed. Obviously, for cloud computing, we all know that the connection with the suitable and the reliable, stable internet is the essential thing. Without it, you cannot do this thing. So currently in Farland, that is not the issue, but obviously it's a challenge or it's a main thing that at any point of time, if the internet is not provided or it is not being connected, you cannot do anything with your data which is stored on the cloud. So the other thing is that constant risks from the hacking, data loss, distributed denial of the service. So this DDS, what do I mean by this? Let me just give you an example. Have you guys ever accessed any website or the any web page, and you would have noticed that that web page is not working, and many people would be saying that it is, because of the traffic, because of the heavy discount, everyone is going to the website, they are opening it, and most of the time when results are announced on some specific website, many people go to it, and due to the traffic, the website gets down and it is not accessible. Have you guys ever encountered this thing? Imbasad, Ashik, Sneha, have you guys have ever encountered this thing? Yes. This is basically the because of the genuine traffic. And you know what? In the cyber world, the hackers or the competitors, they do this thing intentionally by creating the bots, by creating the fake accounts, and then they flow the traffic to your website and bring it down. So this is basically the distributed denial of the service. Okay. Yes, yes, MA Rehan. But again, that is good that you know this thing, but it won't be asked in a very technical thing into the SBL exam. Obviously, SBL is regarding the business leaders and not the technological thing. ACCA website is says yes, it happens with every website. And also at your I remember some few of the student texted me while they were booking the exam dates, so they face this issue as well. So this happens, right? But this is the genuine traffic. Sometimes it is created fake to damage the reputation of the company, that its website is not good, it's down every time, it does not work properly. So this is the distributed denial of the service. So the hacking, data loss, DDS, it's a big challenge in the industry. The regulatory requirement, they are evolving and may turn out more challenging to comply with. All right. So, and there is a chance that they become more costly and the onerous. And we all know about the onerous contract. We have studied this in the IFRS 15 as well. When the contract become loss making, and we all know this. So that is the onerous contract. In ICE 37 as well, we study about this thing. So the demand for highly skilled and technically knowledgeable employees is increasing. Okay, so the availability of suitably qualified staff for the rapidly growing sector means that they are in short supply and very costly to employ. Obviously, when the supply decreases and the demand increases, the cost goes up. So that's very simple thing. Then we have the innovation things. In innovation, we have many success factor in the cloud service business, which are provided in the SaaS services. SaaS means we are now giving them the applications as well. So there was someone who was asking for the example. Now we have the proper example for the applications as well. The business intelligence. So now when you are using the cloud computing services from the service provider, they are not just giving you the space, the operating system. Now they are giving you the application software as well, that use our application software and perform the analysis or perform the application of your operation or whatever you need to do with the data. So the business intelligence, it stores, collect and process the data, gives you the meaningful information which supports in the decision making. So if you integrate the business intelligence into your services, it will give you a boost or the competitive advantage. This is one thing. Quantum computing, obviously it performs the complex data processing more than a normal computer. Again, if you would integrate it into your cloud or the cloud services, it will give you the unique selling point. Artificial intelligence, we all know it is the thinking or operating like a human intelligence thing. So it helps you to access and harness its advanced capability within their business operating at a lower cost. So now they are telling that what further application softwares which you can give through the SaaS services, right? Machine learning thing, a more sophisticated form of AI in which you constantly feed the application or the software and learn it, make it learn, right? It could be a game changer if you integrate the machine learning into your services. And because the client who cannot support, they cannot have the full infrastructure on the in-house machine learning infrastructure or the system, they can outsource it. And outsourcing is always easy because you do not have to incur the initial high capital investment or the fixed cost, right? So they are telling that those clients who are not able to avail this service by their own, they can outsource it from us, and it would be game changing thing for them. All right. The KPIs. Now we have the KPIs, service availability. That means that like how much time you are available. It should be 24/7. This is the target, right? The capacity utilization, the proportion of availability of cloud services which have been allocated for use by the client. So the proportion which you have allocated to the client, that means that is reserved by the client that they will use. Obviously, the capacity which you have and which is not used by the client or which is not reserved by the client, it is the idle capacity or the wasted capacity which is not giving you any return, right? So this is the KPI which looks after this thing. There is the note that obviously if the client has reserved some space for it, that doesn't mean that the client would be using the full capacity, but that doesn't also allow you to use that capacity by yourself or allocate it to the another customer. No, once you have contracted or you have allocated the storage space to the specific customer, you cannot allocate this space to another one, right? Even if the customer is not using it. So this is something which is mentioned in the note. Service reliability is the number and duration of reported service failures, right? This is the KPI. Security breaches, the number of security breaches identified in a given period. Average revenue client, that means the amount of average revenue generated from the individual client given over the period. Operating profit margin, we all know the profit before the interest and the taxation as a percentage of revenue. ROS, we all know what it is, security breaches with the financial impact, that how many security breaches occurred and what was their financial impacts, right? So this is again one of the KPI in the industry. NCTech background, we have studied this. There's nothing new into it. It is a public cloud service company. That means they do not offer the private cloud computing or the hybrid cloud computing. So they are targeting the wider range of the customer by providing the public cloud services. Obviously, the private cloud services, they are bought by the large companies, right? And not obviously the smaller companies or the medium size companies, they cannot afford it. So they are targeting the wider market. NCTech provide comprehensive data storage facility, range of servers, storage, retrieval, sending of data, required networking, everything they are providing. NCTech has never been offered PaaS and SaaS service. That means they are only providing IaaS, that means the infrastructure as a service facility. Initial investment was made by the venture capitalist when the organization was established, which was repaid when the NCTech was listed. That means the NCTech is listed company, right? The three original shareholders still has 10% stake in the NCTech. These are the three engineers who founded this company. They have 10% each shareholding, and the other shareholding, it is occupied by whom? It is occupied by the institutional investors, pension funds, unit trusts. No single shareholder holds more than 10% of the equity. That means all these are not the major shareholder, and they do not have the specific influence over the decision making individually. Collectively they can have, but individually they do not have, because they do not have the enough shareholding power. Now we have the three founding owners who are fully committed, currently hold the position of the CEO, commercial director, operation director. The current board membership has not changed in the last 5 years. That means those board members who were there on the board in last 5 years, they are still there. Okay. Shares have performed better, but in the last financial year, there has been unforeseen and significant fall in the gross profit. Obviously, because of the decrease in the gross profit, the share price would go down. The absence of the dominant shareholders, board is generally free to run the business in the best interest of the company. That is the same thing which I just explained you about the majority shareholder. Now we have the vision, mission, and the corporate values. The vision is to be the one of the leading cloud service provider in the far land. I don't see anything wrong in it. And the mission is that they want to become world class. How? By operational excellence, exceeding the expectation of the customers, strong NCTech brand, sustainable relationship with all key business stakeholders, profitable business model to attract further investment. So these are basically their missions. Core values: grasp the opportunities to make the things better, do better things with than anyone, challenge, trust, and respect to and from the other colleagues and the teamwork, integrity, and openness in all areas. That means the ethics, excitement, excellence, and the energy. Board structure we have non-executive chair, fine, chief executive, and the non-executive directors. 5 non-executive director we have, and then the executive director under the chief executive officer. So by far it's perfect. There is nothing wrong in it. Financial director, commercial director, marketing director, human resource director, and the operation director. So now they have broadened the span of the or the range of the directors, but initially there were only 3 directors. These were the chief executive officer, commercial director, and I guess the operation director. These were the 3 founders, but now they have extended it a lot, and it's a good thing. 4 subcommittees we have: the audit committee, nomination committee, remuneration committee, and the risk committee. Audit committee comprises of 3 non-executive directors, all of whom have the strong finance background. Nomination committee, it is being chaired by the non-executive chair, comprises of all non-executive directors. Okay. Remuneration committee, 3 non-executive director and the human resource director to provide them the professional guidance. No issue in it. 2 non-executive director, commercial director, and the operational directors. Fine. I do not see anything wrong in it, because obviously the risk committee, operation director, and the commercial director should be there. NCTech is fully compliant with the Farland Corporate Code, governance of code. As I just said, I do not see anything wrong in the board structure or the committee structure. Risk register has the principal risk. Risk committee determines the nature. I would just summarize it in a very short word: the risk appetite. It is determined by the risk committee. They also look after the internal control and the risk management. They coordinate with the risk manager, who reports to the operation director and the chair of the risk committee. Then we have the principal risk. Guys, I need you to listen to them very carefully, because these are very important in any scenario, right? We have the competitive threats, new entrant, technological obsolescence, and market pressure affecting the price. So this is the threat due to the increased competition which we are facing. This is the risk. Staffing concern, loss of key personnel, bypassing internal procedure and controls. That means that the staff would not follow the internal control or the procedure, and they would bypass, resulting in something wrong and the having the impact on the business and the business reputation. Regulatory breaches done by the staff, unethical behavior or decision making is affecting business operation. Technological issues, the risk again: lack of internet availability, key to accessing cloud services. This is the risk of the industry. Service availability on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week basis. This is the risk that they would not be able to do this. Virus contamination of the client data, operating system, and the application. If there is a virus in your system, it could affect the data, the operating system, or the application software of the client as well, right? So this is the risk. Data security, unauthorized access to the client data breach or loss, probably from the hacker. Distributed denial of service attack, which involve excessive activity on the system from unidentified sources, which significantly shows or slows down the system and reduce its operational performance. We all know about it. We have discussed already. So the regulatory changes, we all know how it can affect us. The current strategic position is summarized below: the strengths and the weakness. The strengths: we have a good reputation, a strong relationship with the client, secure and reliable service, competitively priced, capable and competent workforce, Weaknesses: IaaS service model offered to the client has never changed. There has been no innovation, no evolvement into this IaaS service model, so that restricts the growth potential. Okay, several large overseas cloud service companies have entered the farland market. That means the competition is increased. Deteriorating retention of the key members of the staff, it has been the issue. Worsening financial performance over the last financial year, which we will see below as well in the graph, it is shown clearly. High dependency on internet service provider client to access the NCTech's IaaS system. That means that if there is no internet, no access, tata bye bye, no party. Performance that dashboard, we have the financial performance, revenue. They were increasing, but then they steep down. Gross profit margin, they are also deteriorating. Profit before tax going up, but now it was going up, now it is going down. ROAS, it is also decreasing. And now we have the reported security breaches. They are reducing, right? They were increasing, but now they are reducing. IaaS service availability to client, they were down, but now they are increasing. So that means the service availability KPI, you are doing good thing. Client average satisfaction out of 100. So now you are at 85. It is increasing. That's a good thing. Farland IaaS market share, it has been decreasing. It has been decreasing. That the market share, because obviously you are not evolving. The market is not evolving or making any change into this model of the services. That means that the market is going towards the decline phase. So this was the whole pre-scene. I hope that I was able to explain it to you. In case if anyone has any issue, please do ask me so that now we can move towards the paper. If there is anything which you think it is not clear to you or you need to discuss with me, you can ask. All right. Let us just take a 2 minutes break for me, if you guys allow me, and then we can start, right? And by the way, I have not seen the pre-mock, but what I feel is that right now, or from to where the world is shifting and the world is going, I am expecting pre-seen to the similar industry, if not the cloud, but somewhat to related to the technology, because you all know that it is a buzzword around the world, right? So that is why I felt that we should attempt this paper, and it will, because we have studied the pet vet industry, we have studied somewhat the retail industry, the technological industry we haven't touched in our practice. So we have to, so that we can develop our understanding or the thinking capability of thinking and solving the paper or the scenario of the technological industry, right? So I am very hopeful that it will help you guys. Ashish, by the way, the question PDF, it is on the Google Drive, but nevertheless I'm sharing it. If you go to the Google Drive, there is a folder named past paper. In past paper we have NCTech, and this is the question. So I'm sharing the link with you guys. Hershey, I guess on Tuesday, because it is issued 2 weeks before the exam. So I guess the exam is on second of the September, right? If I'm not wrong. So if you minus 14 days, what would it be? It would be around 18 or 19, right? So Tuesday, I guess, 19th of August, yes. And the sooner we will get the pre-scene, I will record a detailed pre-scene analysis, a debrief video, and then I will be also giving you the summary of the pre-scene so that you can do the quick revision. And after that, we will be having a grand revision session based on the expected topics which I feel like would be tested, right? Obviously, these are not the explicit or the exhausted list, and the surety that the exam would only come from this list, but it would be an educated guess. Last time I remember it was around 60 or 65% of the paper came from that list. So I will try my best to make an educated guess for you so that you can, focus on those topics relatively higher than the other one. All right. So too much for me as a break. Now let's move forward. Can you please confirm me that you can see my screen, the question paper? And Ashish, have you received the question link in the WhatsApp group? Ashish, can you please confirm me this thing? All right. So, NCTech, December 2023, consists of three tasks. We all know it's a cloud-based business based in Finland that provides IaaS service model through the public cloud. Okay. NCTech is seeking an advice on a number of issues from the Chelwood consultants, right? So we are the third party. Unlike the mock exam, we were the internal party in the mock, right? That we conducted recently. So here we are the external party. You work for the Chelwood consultant and you have been assigned to the NCTech, similar to the previous papers which we have conducted. December 2003 is the current date. We have the following exhibit. Okay, so the exhibit number 1, we all know that we will read these name of the or the title of the exhibit very carefully so that we can connect it with the requirement, that which exhibit is linked or referred for the for which requirement, right? If you guys remember, this has been our practice, right? So you have to be very careful. Data breach investigation. So there is some sort of data breach and the investigation has been done, and in this exhibit there would be some sort of information relating to this. Email from the chair of the risk committee summarizing the preliminary finding of the data breach investigation. So the detailed investigation has not been done, it is just a preliminary. Okay. IT security, extract from NCTech's IT security manual, talent management, article from the Farland Business Review on talent management. Okay. Board transcript, details of the board discussion around the recent client survey. Okay. Pre-scene information, cut this thing. The information should be used to answer each task. Now let's move forward towards the task 1. The chair of the risk committee has undertaken an investigation into a recent data breach at NCTech and emailed his preliminary finding to the chief executive officer. The CEO is concerned that the resultant bad publicity could significantly harm NCTech relationship with its client base and may have a detrimental effect on its business performance going forward, right? So what he's saying that this data breach could have a significant impact on its relationship with the client and the business performance going forward. Obviously, the business performance means your profit, your revenue. So it will decline if the customer would come to know this thing, if your reputation goes down. Fine. The CEO has provided you with a copy of the email and has asked you for the assistance. Okay. Write a memo to the CFO which evaluates the information from the chair of the risk committee, the possible impacts of the on the NCTech reputation, and recommends the action that NCTech should take. So how many tasks which are asked us to do in this requirement? They have asked you, number 1, evaluate the impacts on the reputation, right? And also recommend the actions. So these are the two things which you need to do. Believe me, why I am saying this separately, because in mock many students missed either of the task which was written in the requirement. They either did the evaluation or just recommended the action. So you have to do both things, otherwise you will not get the full marks. So professional skill marks are available for commercial acumen by demonstrating the awareness of how data breach could damage NCTech reputation. So obviously it is connected with this thing. We would be incorporating this professional marks while doing the answer of this thing. So that means it is a 18 marks question. If I would divide it by 2, it would give me that if I would write 9 points, 9 good points would be enough for me, because also I have the recommendations, recommending action as well. So we'll look at it. Is there anything else in the question? No. So now I need you guys to tell me that which of the exhibit should be referred. Which of the exhibits should be referred? Exhibit number 1. Everyone, good? Good. So let us move to the exhibit number 1. Yes. Exhibit number 1. 21st October. Sensitive details belonging to several large clients were accessed by an unknown external party following a secret attack on our core system. The data breach was identified by the internal scrutiny tool, which alerted the data center staff that there had been an attempt to access the core client database and client servers. My investigations found that the firewall had not been operating fully since 10th July, and it is 18th November when he wrote the email, and today it's December, right? So he's saying that it has not been working since how many months? July, September, October, July, August, September, October, and November. So 5 months it is not working. The unauthorized party hacker accessed and copied client data and then attempted to delete from the database. However, no data was actually deleted, so the clients affected were unaware of the breach and continued to use NCTech servers and data storage facility. So there is a data breach. There has been an attack by the hacker who copied the data of the client, right, and tried to delete it. But he was not able to delete it. That is why the customer did not get any information or alert about this thing, because their data was not changed, not harmed. It was just copied. So they continued to use the data or the services of the NCTech. So they are not aware right now. The data has hacked is very likely to have included some commercially confidential information. It is If this is misused or shared by the hacker, it could expose those affected client to significant financial losses and other commercial damages. So data which has been copied, it is a very sensitive commercial data and it can cause the harm to the client. Okay. It is vital that we are always honest in our with our client. Should the security breach become public knowledge, it is likely to generate concern and anger and harm NCTech reputation. Therefore, we need to undertake further detailed investigation to determine exactly which client were affected by the breach and to what extent they were exposed. So he's saying that it is very vital that we remain honest and open with our client, right? This is our value as well. But the thing is that if we are going to tell this thing to client, it will have a very negative impact on our business and the reputation. Okay, so he's saying that we need to do the investigation first and find out that who are the client which are affected and to what extent they are being affected. Breach of trust. So there are two issues. Number one is the system breach. Okay, and there is something else, the breach of trust as well. What it is, let me see. A related concern that although NCTech data center staff had actually identified the data breach, it had not been brought to the attention of the senior management or even internally reported. So the staff, they identified the breach, they identified the hacking, the attempt which has been done. The hacker tried to delete it, he couldn't, and he just left it. They became to know this. They came to know this, but they did not reported this to senior management, and they have deliberately, I would say, they have hidden this information from them. It appears that the breach was rapidly and effectively closed without being properly investigated, and then somehow they tried to close this matter. So obviously, because if the senior management would come to know about this breach, they would investigate, and there is a chances that it would have been done by some of the mistake of some of them. So they would have the consequences. So that is why they tried to close the matter. It was only reported to the board following the internal audit of the data center. So internal audit was conducted, they found this out, and then they reported to the board. By failing to report this incident, there has been a serious breach of trust. Obviously, they have breached the trust. Trust has always been a key feature of the NCTech business model and the culture, and is part of our core value. It is possible that the similar data breaches have occurred in the past but have not been reported. This is the issue. Yes. Those members of the staff involved in the incident may need to be referred for the disciplinary action. However, it is equally important to remind all staff of the importance of complying with NCTech internal procedures and practices to maintain the integrity of the system and services which we provide to our clients. So this is the whole exhibit number 1. Now let's go back to the requirement and see what we were required to do. They were telling us that you have to evaluate the information which has been provided into the email. So there is information regarding the breach of security, right, and the breach of trust. So these are the two issues, and we have to do the evaluation of these issues, that what the impact it will have on the reputation of the NCTech or its business or its culture or anything, right? And then you have to recommend the action. So we will move forward towards the structure of the answer. But let me just ask you if you guys have any idea that what could be the impacts. I am going to the exhibit and presenting the exhibit in front of you so that you can identify a few points for me from the system brief. If anyone has to look at the exhibit, they can have, so that we can move forward. Good, Apurva. Manahil, you have given me the impact, but can you please connect it with the fact or the event through which the loss of reputation would be done? Market share, yes, but you have to come up with the thing that what has happened specifically in the data breach which will result in this thing. All right, let me just give you the first. Let me open the answer file. We are required to write a memo. All right. To whom? Let us go to the requirement and see to whom we were required to write a memo. Memo to CEO. To CEO. From who we are? We are the Chelwood consultants. Subject and the date. All right. No, Apurva, no. Subject. What would be the subject? What would be the subject? Can you guys please come up with the very precise and to the point subject for me? This is a type of question which is basically a time trap, and we have to learn this thing in the class, that how we are going to handle it, and I will tell you guys the technique to handle this thing. No, if I would write evaluation of the security breach incident, right? If anyone else has any other subject line, they can share with me so I can review. Impact of data breach on NCTech performance. Yes, good Easter. Data breach, it's fine. Data breach, it's fine. Maham, Shabnam, good SJ, Asfar, correct. So these are all good, right? So this is December 2000X3, right? Now let us draft the introduction paragraph, the opening paragraph of our answer. How do we do this? If you guys have been following the technique, then you would know. This memo, from where we are going to write the introduction paragraph. From the task. Yes, Easter. So let us go to the task. Here I have opened the question in the other file as well. So from here we will start write a memo to the CEO which evaluates. So we will start from evaluates and till the end. Control C, and here I go Control V. Is it not working? Let me do it again. Ideally, it should work, but it is not. Now it's working. So this memo evaluates the information from the chair of the risk committee, the possible impacts of the NCTech reputation, and recommends the action that NCTech should take. So first, we have two issues, right? We have the breach of what? We have breach of the system breach. It was written in the exhibit. We have the system breach. So now, whenever you have some sort of question which you think is a time trap, which is not related to any concept or the theory, you have to find out a structure for it. Break it down into the headings, break it down into the parts so that you can handle it, so that you can think on it on within the boundary of the specific headings. So now first I have bifurcated the requirement into two areas, the system breach and the breach of trust. First, I will discuss everything about the system breach. So, when I talk about the system breach, I have number one thing. What could be the effect of the system breach? What do you have? What have you seen? What thing which you have seen wrong in the system breach? What I have seen is that the unauthorized access was made by the hacker, and this unauthorized access was not identified timely. It was not identified timely. That means that there is a weakness in the controls which stops or which identifies the breach of the data. What do you guys think? Yes, firewall issue, firewall not updates. So now see how I have broken down the things into separate headings, and now we can think. So the first thing is that start from the very beginning. Start from the beginning of the event that the unauthorized access was made. So if it was made, then as a business leader, as a person who is going to think of a bigger picture, would first think that there is a firewall issue, right? You have to do the evaluation. So now evaluate it. There is a firewall issue. There is a issue in your controls which restricts the unauthorized access, which alerts the organization upon the unauthorized access, right or not? No, Shabnam, see, it was accessed by the unknown, identified by the internal security tool, which alerted the data center staff that there had been an attempt to access to the core client database and the client service. The data breach was identified later on, not at the time it was done, right? The investigation found that the firewall had not been operating fully since 10th July. Yes. So how we will start? We will start like this. And the other thing is that, do you guys remember that in the risk area of the pre-scene, it was mentioned that the unauthorized access is one of the principal risk of your entity or business. Yes. So you can use this thing as well, that the unauthorized access is one of the principal risk of the business. Still, the controls implemented over the restriction of the unauthorized access were not working effectively to restrict the hacker or alert the staff upon the breach of system. This I have written. This is the evaluation from my side, isn't it? Now we will go towards the impact. Now we will what? Go towards the impact that what it could have. The control or the procedures should be reviewed so that this kind of event, I would say breach, would not happen again, as it will have the serious impact on the business and future performance with repetition. Are we clear on it? Do we have any confusion over it? Do we have any confusion over it? That how I have drafted this thing? Now let's go back to the exhibit again and see if we can have another issue. See, the system breach has been done. It has happened. Now we are just evaluating that how it happened, what went wrong, and how it will have the impact on the business. Let me highlight some points for you. Loss of confidential data. Exactly. Pooja, can you explain it a bit? Now we can make. Pooja, I have just rephrased it uh, from loss to breach because no data was harmed, no data was deleted, it was copied. Okay. Apurva, correct. Confidential data loss may arise legal consequences. So, sir, can we make the separate heading for firewall is not working? Hema, we have already made the heading for the unauthorized access and we have included the unauthorized access connected with the firewall not working. But it is fine if you are making the firewall heading itself and then you are explaining the point, because as far as you are just mentioning or delivering the concept, there is no issue, right? So the breach of client confidential data. Apurva, excellent, good point. So now the point of Apurva and the Pooja, breach of data may lead to regulatory fines and penalties. Yes. So now if I go to the exhibit itself and try to copy some things from there, because as we all know that most of our answer always starts from the exhibit. So here no data was actually, it is an pictorial form, I cannot copy anyways. No data was actually, I am starting here from here, right? See this thing and then I will connect it with this thing, right? And then finally I will give my conclusive comment or the complete my answer. So I will go and no data was actually deleted. So the clients, but the hacker copied the data which was commercially confidential. So see how I have managed to completely convey my point and include all the important points in my sentence, that no actual data breach was done by, but the hacker copied data and that data was commercially confidential, right? And again, by going to the exhibit I can find the more wording that it could expose those affected client to the significant financial losses, and it would be a great evaluation from my side. Don't you think this? Yes, Manahil. Is that good? So the commercially confidential information which could expose those clients affected to the significant financial loss, and other commercial damages. So this is the evaluation. Now tell me that what would be the impact on our reputation? What do you think, that the client is going to let you go off? The client is going to let you go off. Okay, no worries, you are ashamed on it. We are fine. We are not going to sue you. We are not going to impose the penalties on you. We are not going to stop buying services from you. Isn't it going to happen, everyone? Yes. This will result in the anger and dissatisfaction from the client, resulting in the legal fines and penalties and compensation. You have to pay the compensation as well to those clients which are affected. To them, also, clients will move their business away from you, and this will have the negative impact on your company. If the clients would become aware of this, it will. Yes, SJ, correct point. You can include it into your answer. Client will file legal case against NCTech, will penalty compensation affected further. It will lead to loss of reputation. Good, Pooja. Good point. Easter is saying data breach could lead to regulatory fine and penalty depending on the impact. Might near to lose license. Yes, yes. This will also lead to competitive disadvantage. Security data breach situation would be exploited by companies competitor to attract companies existing clients and increase their market share. Good point, as far. Good point. So the issue is that we have to start our answer, and how we are going to start it, we are going to break down the answer into the different headings. So I have made the different heading for the system breach of trust. Now we are talking about the system breach. In system breach, now one thing, I identified that this unauthorized access happened because your controls were not operating effectively, right? Then I identified this thing that this breach have the impact on your client because the information was commercially sensitive. The number three thing is that, let me give you the hint, and I want you to give me the evaluation part. That, see, this event has happened, the breach has happened, whatever your fault or not, but now your customer do not know this thing, but ultimately they would come to know one day. What do you think, when they would come to know that this thing happened and you did not inform them? There would be two reasons for them to be angry on you. Number one, the breach itself, and the other thing is that you hide this information from them, right? What do you think? Should we do this thing? Excellent, Hershey. Excellent point. Now you got my point. See, now when we are evaluating the scenario by breaking it, now we are getting the points, we are getting the evaluation thing. Apurva, we can, and we are not required to give the specific actions. So don't need to worry about it. Need to disclose, we should disclose this matter considering article values, withdrawal of the funds. So now Ashik, Asfar, Ashish, not like this. I need you to draft the proper evaluation point for me. Meanwhile, I am drafting my point and then I will review yours, right? So I need you to draft the point for the ethical values point. How many else we do have? Good start, Hema. Good start. We have Sneha, Shabnam, Pooja, Taimur. Good, excellent, Hema. Your point is correct. You can write this point in exam. Like with this approach, you can go. SJ, I will read your answer. Let me just draft my one. I'm starting from here. See, I'm starting from this line. This line in the exhibit gave me this point. Now let me read your answers. Apurva, the only thing missing in your answer is that um, the NCTech is known for honesty. They are not transparent, but how it will be concerning for the customer. You have to explain it a bit that if the customer would come to know about this thing, they would think that you are not integrate, you are not honest, and it is not safe to store their confidential data with you, right? So you have to just complete your answer. Your point is correct. I got your point, but examiner is not going to get it. So you have to always complete whatever you are thinking and explain properly to the examiner. Right, Apurva? Manahil, why you will face the anger and what let them be aware of this fact later on later stages, what will happen? The same issue as to the Apurva. The thing is that Manahil, still the other competitors are there, but why they will move to them? Because of the issue of the trust, honesty and integrity. So this point is missing, but the point is related to it, but it is not explained. Yes, Ashish, you came correctly. Good point. Easter, but Easter, you have to start the point properly. Your point seems very incomplete, or it seems like you have started from the mid of the point. Like your evaluation part, it is nowhere. Okay, good, Shabnam. Hema, I've checked your answer. If there anything else, Saad, you have given me the action. Right now, I am not discussing the action because I will make a separate heading for the action and we will draft it. So it would be better if you would draft the evaluation of this ethical value point which we are discussing. Good start, Aswar. Intentional hiding of the unauthorized access. See how he just, with this word, it is already explained to the examiner that what Aswar is trying to say. No, SJ, your point is not clear. But like if we are informing client now, and if they would come to know by themselves on the later stage, why they will claim more penalties? Why it will have more a more severe effect on me? I know that you know this thing and we have been discussing, but this is not mentioned in your point. Sure, Emma, you can. There is nothing wrong in the format if you are following the table format, right? But what I am trying to do is that we will write the actions in a combined paragraph. All right. So now what do we have? Now let's move towards the action paragraph. So now if I divide the answer and show you that how many points are we going to draft for the marks, how many marks do we have in this? It was the 18 marks question. Okay. And I was saying that if we would write the 9 points, 9 good points. So if I would say I have written 3 good points, right? We have written 3 good points. So 2 marks for each, and the actions. So now I'm going to write the actions for each of them. So it would be again for like 1 point for each action, right? And then again the 3 points in the breach of trust thing, and then the action thing. So it would make around the 18 marks for me. Or if the 1 point for the action, it is my the very conservative side, but there could be more than this. Like for example, it is 6 marks, and let me check how much marks it was. It was 18 marks, yes. So the actions, mm, yes. Now, what do you think? What should be the action for these 3 points? Unauthorized access, breach of client confidential data, and the ethical values. What should be the actions? Apurva, this will be in the breach of trust heading. It will come under the breach of trust heading. You can Apurva, see, as we all know that there could be totally different 3 points than my one, and they could be well justified, right? In SBL this is the case. So if you are, yes, there is one more point available as well, because I have also checked the suggested answer of the ACCA. They have mentioned one more point here, but obviously as per the given marks I know that these 3 points are enough. Okay, but the point which you are thinking, that the identification of the breach was done at very later stages, so there is a chance that there could be other incident as well which we did not come to know. There could be other harm or the impact on the customer data which we couldn't come to know, so there should be a detailed investigation for that as well. Okay, so now the action thing is that, number one, conduct the detailed investigation of the security breach, because in requirement it was told to us that it is the preliminary investigation. So the first thing I'm going to say is that go and do the detailed investigation. A strengthen control environment, revisiting IT security control, perhaps by external audit, and take disciplinary action against the involved employees, reinforce ethical values. Good as well, good as well. But you have to just extend it a bit more so that you can get good marks. Uh, to identify the reasons of the breach, and also, SJ, can I make it a general point that rather than the OTP thing, we would just say place our efficient controls. Yes, yes. Access should be restricted to only relevant people. But again, Easter, this is very a specific point, but I'm not trying to go into the specific details or specific recommendation. I'm trying to give the recommendation to each issues we have identified and we have evaluated. So if I talk about the breach of the client confidential data, so the combined point for these two things would be that you would inform that first you do the investigation, evaluate that how much it has affected the data, what is the full picture of the breach, and then you communicate with the client about the breach, right, for the ethical values. And you have to be very careful while communicating to the clients that what should be the tone, how it should be communicated, so that you can reduce or minimize their anger as much as possible, because it would matter a lot and it would take a lot courage to go in front and accept this thing. And the other thing is that, as we talk, that there would be a very big loss to the client because of the commercial data involved. Don't you think that you should offer your clients the compensation from your own self? Don't you think that it would lessen their anger? Hmm? Yes, Easter, good. Good point, Apurva. Good, everyone. Pooja, good point. So the first point is correct. Now let's move towards the second point. The second point is that the NCTech board should evaluate the nature and extent of the breach and the extent of the loss to the clients due to the unauthorized access to the commercially confidential information, right? Once you have done this, now the board has to inform the clients. Everyone, should we inform this thing to all the clients whether they are affected or not, and we should make them afraid of us? No, we should only inform those clients which are affected. And while doing so, you have to be very careful and conservative, right? Adequate communication. Good, good. Yes, Pooja, correct. Yes, yes, good point, Manahil, good point. So now this was for the ethical values. Now towards the compensation thing and the loss of the client. So what should we do? NCTech should offer the clients the adequate compensation for their loss and also make arrangement for the regular backups for the emergency situation so that data of clients could be accessed and safe guarded. All right. So see, obviously the thing is that you guys are typing in the chat and you are trying to type it quickly, but I'm taking my time and drafting a complete point. That is why the point which Manahil has drafted and the point which I have drafted has some differences. But with the passage of time, and when you would also draft the point properly, it will start happening with you as well, that your points will start becoming complete. SJ, in the next heading about the breach of the trust. Yes, Manahil, we can, but Manahil, here I have included all the controls here: antivirus, firewall, OTP, everything I have included here by saying also strengthen the control and procedure in place to stop such breach. Yes, yes, Ashish. Let me just include this thing also and alert the IT team for appropriate action immediately. Correct, Ashish? Good, Pooja. Yes, we can, Apurva. Correct point. But I think my answer is, sufficient. But in case if you come up with this point in the exam, Apurva, you can. It is correct. Adequate compensation point is not clear. The thing is that as far see the client has sustained the loss, right? Because their confidential data has been shared. So right now, I'm not in a position to comment any amount or what I can say. So the best way and the diplomatic way of writing the answer is that adequate. Whenever there is something which you are not sure about, try to use these kind of words: adequate, majorly, mainly, appropriate. This will always save you. Manahil, I have already included all kinds of controls here in this line. Manahil, are you with me? See again, you guys are thinking about the thousands of control. I have just mentioned in one line. Strengthen the controls. They will look after this thing. Okay, perfect. So now, what do we have? We have another heading. We have the breach of trust. So if I talk about the breach of trust, now I need you guys to comment about the issues about the breach of trust, that the incident was not reported to the senior management. What it was? Deliberate. Concealment. All right. Now I need you guys to draft the evaluation point for me about the deliberate concealment of the breach. Let me show you the exhibit so that you can use some word from there. You can start your answer from here. Although till here, you can use these wordings, right, in exam. I don't need this. I can draft on my own, but for you guys, you can, just copy and paste this thing into your answer. Yes, Ashish, it is for all because hacker tried to delete the data. In case in future he gets successful into deleting it, what will you do? Shabnam, please stay with the structure. This is why you guys mess up in the answer, because when I'm talking about the evaluation, you are thinking about the action. No, first evaluate the point, explain it to the examiner. Good, Apurva. Manahil again. Manahil, please try to draft a proper answer. See, like you have written, when senior management is not aware. Like you have not mentioned this thing that the staff was already aware and they did not inform. This is the issue, that they did not inform. It is not the duty of the senior management to find this thing out. Obviously, they have in place the internal audit and the audit committee, but when the staff comes to know about something, they have to inform them. This is the thing which is the main thing or the main issue in the point. You have to write this thing. No worries, Shabnam. Good, Asfar. Good. Maham has jumped to the later part of the point while not doing the evaluation. Maham, you have written the implication point. Good, Asfar. Pooja, good. SJ, again, I'm not talking about the action right now. If you are giving me the action for the last point, last heading, then it is fine. No, sir, you are getting too considerate for the staff. In scenario, it is written properly that they did not inform. It was not that they don't know, they didn't know who to inform. They deliberately did not inform. Good, Ashish. Good. So now let me complete my point. All right. So this is the point which I have drafted and I have given the impact as well. SJ, the thing is that we are talking about the breach of trust. How come the risk manager come into it? Like, do you think that breach of trust is somehow related to the risk manager? Yes, if we are going to give the actions or the recommendation, we would say that there should be some sort of check or the regular audit or the inspection by the risk manager or the internal audit or this kind of thing. But right now, risk manager is not one to blame. Yes, Hershey, yes. But you have to explain it a bit more. It is not a good answer. No, Esther. Good, Sneha. Apurva, recommendation, we will come later. Apurva will come later to this point. Correct, Maham. Correct. So now, let me go to one step ahead. Have you ever been broken on your trust, or someone has lied to you? Have this ever happened in your life? If yes, then what do you say to that person or that event, that if you have done this once, you will do it in future, or you would have done it in the past as well? It is just that I came to know about this very incident or this very lie. Don't you think that from the business perspective, I am the head of the business? Now I came to know about this act of the staff. don't you think I should think that this is the one incident which I identified? There could be the incident in the past as well which I have not identified, and these are the liars. These are the people who I should not trust. Should I think this? And I should conduct a proper investigation of any other incident which has happened in the past or not? Do you guys get my point by the heading? See, this is my evaluation. Evaluation means that now you are coming to know about these things. Now evaluate and think about it. What are the other impacts? What could be the case? Right? Think about it. Not in the future, Manahe. Leave about the future. I am saying that the way we say that I have caught you lying once. There could be the instances that you would have lied to me in the past as well. It is just that I was not able to catch you. So this is what I'm saying. Leave about the future. I'm not going to give you any chance to lie in the future. I'm going to place the good controls, good policies, procedure. I'm going to conduct the regular audits. You're thinking you are going to lie in the future? No, I'm not going to give you the chance. But what about the past? This is how the business thinks. Ashish, not the fraud. This is too serious. Not fraud, but the unreported events or the breaches. Yes, good. Overall, good point. Just the fraud word, I do not feel like it is relevant here. Okay. So the next point, what do we have? The other thing is that don't you guys think that this thing indicates one more thing, that there is issue in the culture, like the core value of the entity was to uphold the honesty and integrity culture, but the staff is doing this thing. That means that the values are not implemented on the staff level or the roots of the company. Good, Hershey, but the actions we will go after this. So what could be the thing that yes. What we can write, we can make the headings like good SJ. Yes, is that this could be the thing. This could be the thing. You can write this thing into the action point, that there should be the proper policy or the encouragement on the disclosure of such breaches, and the security to the staff that they would not be facing the adverse consequences if they are not responsible. Simple. Yes, Evelyn, correct. But again, this would come into the actions heading. See, the more you will break down your answer, the more headings you will make, it will become easy for you. Because right now, while I'm drafting the evaluation and the impact thing, I'm not thinking about the action, although they are coming into my mind. But if I would try to do something fancy and try to merge the action with it, there are high chances that I would mess up and I would not be able to complete my impact and the evaluation thing, and I would mix things up. So this is why I always try to keep things separate from each other. Good, Saad. Good point. Okay, thank you, Eve. Now we have the actions. Now one by one, for each point, what should be the actions? The deliberate concealment of the breach. There should be the investigation, and this should be found out that who was the responsible person who did not reported the incident, right? And they should be given that the disciplinary action should be taken against them, in order to construct an example for the others, so that you can discourage this kind of behavior, this kind of unethical behavior. Number one thing. Number two thing, that the possibility of non-reported other breaches in the past, that now you have to conduct a detailed investigation of all the client data, all the security controls, all the control environments, control activities, and also you have to now conduct the regular audits so that you can, if even if the staff is not reporting you, you can come up to know about the breaches by your own self. So the internal audits should be conducted regularly. Number three thing, the culture of dishonesty and the concealment. So now you should be giving the staff trainings. You need to do their development about the integrity, honesty, and the ethical values. And the director should set the tone from the top about the integrity and honesty. And the other thing is that there might be the chances that the staff did not reported this event or the breach because they were feared that they would have the adverse consequences. So there should be the policies and procedures or the encouragement to the staff that they would report such breaches or such issues so that the senior management could take the timely action, and those staff who will report it, if they are not responsible, if they do not have any fault, they would not be punished. This should be assured to them. This is 18 marks question, Harshi. Manahil, segregation of duty point, if you can explain it, then you can, if you would explain it in the chat, I will see if it is correct or not, and accordingly you can do this. So the action things, I have just explained the overall thing, and let me just wait for a few of you guys to draft the action thing if you can, and then we will move forward. I will give you the drafted answer and let us save our time. Are you guys clear with the action thing, or I have to draft it? Because I just explained you in proper drafting language. Yes, Eve, that is what I just said, that the trainings and development about the ethical values should be conducted. 7 points. Ashish, I did not get your answer. Yes, SJ, you can. It is correct. Yes. Shabnam, the point could be shorter. If your point is complete, you can make it shorter. But what I mean is that if you try to see, let me explain you. Most of the student, they waste time in making the point short. Whereas I always recommend that the time you are thinking to shorten your point, why you should not invest it in explain your point properly. What thing is better? Give few seconds, like 20 to 25 second more, and explain your point in a better way or complete way, or take unnecessary pressure or the tension to shorten your point. No, I'm not drafting the separate points for the professional marks, Ashish. We have written 6 points in total, and the action points, like I would say, we have drafted 7 to 8 points. So it is fine. Good, Manahil. All right. So let's move forward, and the action part, I will give you the drafted answer the way I give you about for the every attempt, right? Ashik, right now it is not, and I would think that it would, waste our time. So CBT platform, I will try to not saying when, but I will try to record a lecture on it that how to use it. But I believe that you all are giving the SBL paper, so you would have given the SBR or the other papers as well. So you would be familiar with the CBE platform, and there would be very remote chances that there would be a student who is appearing in the SBL as a very first paper of the professional exam or the CBE platform. That is why I have not focused more on it. But if you have any specific issue, Ashik, you can reach me out at any time. So now let's move forward to the second part. The recent security breach has forced the board to consider the enhancement to the current IT security arrangement at NCTech. Okay. You have been provided with the relevant extract from the NCTech current IT security manual. So there is IT security manual, and you have been given the extract, and have been asked to evaluate it and recommend any further measures that will help to strengthen these existing controls and reduce risk of the future data breach. So we have the manual. In manual, there are controls, and we have to evaluate them, like what is the good thing into it, what are the bad thing into them, and what are the recommendations we are recommending to them. Is it clear? Are we clear on it? Yes. Draft a briefing paper to the board that evaluates the 4 security layers. So now there are going to be the 4 headings, because in requirement it has given us the structure itself. So whenever you are going to draft your answer in a structure, always you will get the help, or if not help, you would come to know that what is the area you are able to draft in a good way, and what are the area you are not being able to draft. So just leave it and move to the other one. But if you would try to attempt the full scenario without any heading, you would be messed, you would be confused, or you would be lost into the answer, and you would not be able to leave what area you are not able to draft, right? And this has been the issue with many students. Okay, the 4 layers we have to evaluate: IT security manual and recommend any further security control that should be put in place to minimize the risk of future data breach. 14 marks. Professional marks are available for analysis by considering the current IT security manual and any additional security control that could minimize the risk of future data breach. 4 marks. So analysis, obviously the evaluation thing we are doing, it would be the analysis and the recommendation. So this is same thing. It is the 18 marks question again, and I would say if we have 4 headings and 4 marks for each heading on an average basis, or 4.5. So if I am drafting like 2 good points, it would be more than enough. What do you guys think? Right? So 2 paragraph or 2.5 paragraph for each heading would be more than enough. Are we clear onto this marks allocation and the length of the answer? But still, this is not a rule of thumb. If you think that in one heading there is no much data or nothing much for the discussion, that paragraph would be very small. But there could be a possibility that the other heading has a very lengthy discussion or many points to discuss. So you're not going to leave them, obviously. Can we move forward and find out which of the exhibit we should look? Exhibit number 2, that is the IT security extract from the IT security manual. Let's go to the exhibit number 2. IT security. NCTech applies 4 layers of IT security. Number 1, human layer, perimeter layer, application layer, data layer. All right. So let us dig down into each layer. People, both internal and external, to NCTech present a significant risk to the integrity of our IaaS business model. So the integrity of the people is a significant risk into this thing. How? NCTech staff should fully understand the complexity of the technology in use and how it can remain secure. That means that if the staff is not working properly, if the staff is not working with the integrity, if they are not following the policies and procedure which are designed, they are not following the control, then this layer is of no use. Do you guys agree with me? Because this is the significant risk on the people's integrity. So the human layer, it is not itself any control. It is basically the people, the integrity or the honesty of the people. If they are exercising the control, they are following the policies and procedure, right? Security control applied at this layer. Robust access control procedure help to reduce the risk of security breach. This thing I do not agree with them, because these are not robust access control. Like, don't you think that the human layer cannot stop, or this is not a very good control? Like, if the person who is performing the control or looking after things, if he is not performing well, this control is of no use. So this is not a robust control. Another thing is that how the human layer is contributing towards the restricting of the unauthorized access. No, human has no intervention into it. There are the access protocol, ID passwords, and the access IDs. Humans are not involved into it. Yes, sister, now you got the point. There should be IT interface. And this is the task or the job of the IT interface to do. So this thing is somehow wrong. We will discuss about it because they ask us to evaluate. So in evaluation, the thing which we find good, we will mention. The thing which we find bad, we will mention. Simple. Yes, yes, yes. Compulsory training ensures compliance with the NCTech standard operating procedures. Right. So the controls which are applied is that the compulsory training have been implemented, right? So it's a good thing. So now let us move towards the format of the answer, and one by one we will read it and then we will do the evaluation. Would it be the good way? Apurva, HYES. I didn't get what you are trying to say. Yes, yes, yes. So the briefing note, they are being addressed to the board. It is briefing paper, right? Board of directors. Then we have from the Chelwood consultants. What should be the subject? The requirement is in the front of you. What should be the subject? Good Taimur, good Apurva, good Shabnam, good Maham, good Easter. All right. The introduction paragraph. We will take it from the requirement or the task. This will go here from where I can copy and paste. So the first thing we will talk about the human layer, right? So now start evaluating the human layer. In human layer, what we have seen whatever we have seen. Tell me what is something which you think is a good thing, what you think is somehow not good because it will lead to the security breaches in the future. This is what I need you to do with me. There is something related to the training, like education thing. Don't you think for the human layer it is a good thing? The excellent is the excellent. So the first point is going to be Easter, please no annotation. Compliance with the NCTech. From where I am coming up with this point, I'm coming up with this point from this evaluation of myself that this training is a good thing. And now I am copying and pasting these lines into my answer. That's it, nothing more. Because if you want the human layer to operate effectively, you need to train the humans. That's it. It will help the human layer to operate effectively and will reduce the chances of future breaches. That's it. Point is done. Do we have another point? Do we have the another point? when I talk about the data security, the human layer, don't you think that the humans should be aware about the data security or the updates of the passwords? Hmm? And there should be the active monitoring of the people who are accessing the data or accessing the system. Apurva, first point I agree, but first point I do not agree. Like how you have mentioned these access control to the robust access control, because I do not feel like that the data breaches could be primarily stopped by the human layer. No. Do we have anyone else who is able to draft something, or we are confused? If we are confused, we have any question, please do ask. There is supposed to be the proper training over the mm, over the regular update of the passwords for human layers. It is necessary thing because human needs a password to access through their accounts, through their IDs. So they have to keep them regularly updated. Passwords and there should there also be active monitoring of the activity of the users to identify the unauthorized access or activity. Right? The other thing, now, if there is any issue, do we have any issue? Yes, yes, yes. This we will draft in the recommendation point. The issue is ISTA has suggested that there should be a channel of report in case of any suspicious data breach should become a human error. Yes, this is the something Apurva I was saying that is why I'm not saying it is a robust control, because there could be the human error, and that is our next point is this layer does not seems to be the robust access control to help reduce the unauthorized risk, unauthorized access, right? Because this layer is dependent on the integrity of the staff and which could be compromised, right? I would say integrity and behavior, right? Guys, do we have any issue into it? Because right now I'm not getting too many messages in the chat, which indicates me that you guys are having some problem into this question. Good, Rehan. Good, Rehan. So the recommendation thing. Now, let us move to the recommendation part. I'm not putting the heading. I'm just drafting the paragraph for the recommendation. What recommendation are you? Bouncer question. Harshi, yes, it is somewhat you can say bouncer question because it involves the layers of the IT technology which we are not that much aware of. So in that kind of question, apply your common sense, apply your general knowledge that human layer what would be done or what are the technical operational things into it, and try to draft as much as possible in the given time and then move forward. Do not waste your time in these kind of questions. There should be proper training. I believe it is there. The staff should be strictly. The first thing is that although there is any breach or I would say, what do we say? Any breach or exception identified in the human layer. But now, for example, whenever we are talking about any technological layer or the technological controls, whenever we are asked to recommend anything, the one thing is always applicable: regular updates. What do you guys think? Because in IT technology things, in the controls or the policies or procedure automatic things, there is always a need to update them. Can we make this recommendation that there should be the regular update into the policies and the procedures and the training and education of the staff, stay up to date, segregation of duty? But the thing is that Harshi, they have asked us to give recommendation. See here in the requirement, to give the recommendation further required. So by looking at this, I'm not suggesting that there is some sort of deficiency because they have not told us. So there has to be some segregation of duties and everything in place there, unless they are not telling me this specifically. So right now I do not have any further recommendation for them. That is why I'm just saying that there should be the proper updates and the regular updates to the system. Are we okay with it? Easter, we have already mentioned in the above point that there would be. I am assuming that there is a strong password update policies and the procedures, right? And then how can I recommend that there should be the strong password update procedure or policies? I cannot, because I'm saying it is already in place, right? So either of this case you can do, either you can put it into the recommendation paragraph or you can put into the evaluation paragraph. But as far what I think is that whereas or so far nothing has been mentioned or been shared with us in anywhere that there is no password update policy or the procedure. So I'm not thinking on my own that there is no policy and I have to recommend it. Hmm? Yes, I will, Harshi, upload it. No, Apurva, totally irrelevant answer, because the foundation of security layer using the AI, how can we, include the human AI into the human layer? Number one thing, and the other thing is that we are not talking about the innovation thing into it. We are talking about the security. Yes, you can. The other thing is that, Harshi, again, see here, they've already mentioned this thing that the compulsory training ensures compliance with the NCTech standard operating procedure. Yes, you can further mention that these training should be regular. These regular training should be updated with the passage of time. So the other thing is that there should be regular updates in the trainings and education of the staff regarding the standard policies and procedures regarding the control and security. Yeah. All right, this is it. Now we will talk about the other layer. But which it was? It was the perimeter layer. Let us read it together. The perimeter layer is the outlier of the whole NCTech system, and it is a point where client connect, gain access to their own data and application. This layer include all client devices which are connected to the NCTech system. So this could potentially be the most vulnerable part of the system. Security control applied at this layer. All external client devices need to be registered and authorized to gain the IAA system. Okay, so the devices are required to be registered and authorized. This is to ensure that the only recognized and trusted device can come across system perimeter. Unique security key is allocated for each client device. Okay. So these are the control. Now I need you guys to evaluate this layer. Tell me about this layer. What do you guys understand from it, and what are the good thing or the risk or the bad thing into it? Yes, Harshi, you can. Um, Manahil, for the human layer, yes, you can if you're not getting any point. It won't be wrong, but you have to then explain it or somehow link it with the human layer security, human security layer. We are not talking about the humans itself. We are talking about the layer, the security layer, and the security layers include the policies, procedures, training, their development, and the manuals. These kind of things, not the human itself. Yes, is the correct? So the thing is that the perimeter layer, it is the layer through which the client get the access to the data, operating system and the application system, right? And this is the point from where the hackers also get the access. So this is the point. This is a very critical point for the NCTech. Don't you think? Yes. So now, what I am saying is that there should be some sort of see, the thing is that the devices are already registered and authorized, they can only gain the access, but still what hacker did, they got it got the access and he copied the data. There could be one suggestion, and again this is the suggestion, kind of suggestion which I'm not expecting to come from a student if they are not expert in this field, but anyways, there could be a encryption or decryption technique applied, that even if the hacker copied the data, even if the hacker copied the data, still he would not be able to use it because he does not have the decryption key. Blockchain technology, some fancy and heavy words. Ashik, would you be able to explain it in the requirement or in the answer? No, 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 not at all. Leader, is it the correct pronunciation? If not, sorry. Yes, exactly, Pooja. So the first evaluation point would be that this layer is the point from where the client, which are the actual user of the data, gets the access. OTP Yes, yes, Hema, it would be. But again, the thing is that hacker has been able to bypass these all things. These controls are already in place, but hacker have bypassed them. Apurva, it is done. There is this control in place. Yes, 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 Manahil, correct. Access to the data, and also it is the point from where the hacker or illegal user will get the access. Yes, Aswar, correct. Good point. Good point. Yes, Easter. No, Manahil. See, whatever the risk you are coming up, I have no issue. But as far as you are able to explain it, that how it is related to the perimeter layer. This layer is basically the layer through which you interact with the data. Yes. So this is the critical point in the control or security layer. This is the evaluation. Yes, good point, Apurva. Hashi, verification done. Hacker bypassed every control. Your all preventive control have been bypassed. See, there are controls which are preventive, which are detective, which are rectifying. So the preventive control, they have been bypassed already. Now what we will be recommending, we will be recommending the detective control or the rectifying control. Like Asfar said, that there should be the proper IPs or the VPNs through which the user can only connect with the data or interact with the data. If there is some access from the unknown location, it would not give him the access. Like Apurva said, that if the unauthorized access has been gained, system will block it. Hmm? And what do you guys think that if I put so many controls in place at this layer, and these control become too hectic for the client, the legitimate user, don't you think that they would be offended by this much control, that I have to control VPN, my internet gets slowed down, that I cannot change the location, I have to follow the encryption techniques, and blah blah blah. Hmm? Yes, yes. So, but at the same time, it should be considered that extensive controls might become the hassle for the client, resulting in them going to your competitors. So now what we are doing, we are just evaluating things, that if we are saying it is a security layer, and the extensive controls should be placed at this stage. Yes, Rehan, correct. SJ, the notification thing, the hacker would obviously use the existing ID, or yes, you can, somehow you can mention this thing. So the thing is that yes, it is correct. The two key system when client want to access the entire their code and other and whatever when we confirm that. Yes, Harshi, yes, we can, but this is correct. But I'm just doing the additional conversation or the discussion that don't you think that the client would be too dependent on you whenever he needs to connect with the data, that you will get one code and the client will get the other code and you will merge it. So if you are not responding, if the client is not able to get your code, he would not be able to access this. So the extensive controls sometimes become very harmful as well. It discouraged them to follow the control. It discouraged them to uh, take their business to you. They would say there are too much of policies, procedure, and the red tapeism which we have to follow. So this is the point which I'm trying to make you understand and draft, because obviously you have to think from all the angles. You're not just thinking about the security, you have to think about the convenience and the feasibility of the things as well. And this point is for every one of you. There can be fixed IPs or access blockage system for the unauthorized access and robust effectiveness of each of them should be ensured. Right. Further, there should be an encryption technique which to which client can encrypt their data and only they can decode it using that key, so that it will will it was somewhere good point written by, I guess, Pooja. That it will leave no intrinsic value to the thing. All right. So are we good with it? Do we have any question? Please do ask. Can we move forward? These are additional control which are placed if the data usage is distinct from the previous trace activity of the client. Yes, yes. No, we cannot. One thing we have missed, that I told you that in every layer you can recommend one security measure. That is, further more, there the regular Audits should be conducted to identify the attempts or breach, attempted or actual breach, and also the regular updates over the controls. This is something which we can type into the all layers. So why shouldn't we? Now then we have the third question or the third part. Third layer we have the application layer. Now this application layer is somewhat, let me bring out the pen. Application layer relates to the software we use to provide the service to our client. This includes the IaaS operating system as well as the varied application used by our clients. The application layer enables the whole system to function effectively and security within the prescribed operating parameters. So now the thing is that we are providing the IaaS services. That means we are only providing the storage facility. If the client need to do anything with the data, they have to connect their operating system, their application software with the data and do whatever they need to do. But there is a risk that if the client has connected some system with our system and they have the virus, don't you think it can spread to our whole data centers? Hmm? Yes. If they have a corrupt software, don't you think they can corrupt our software as well? The data of other client as well? That is why the control applied need to be checked. All client application needs to be checked and formally approved and registered to prevent the use of unauthorized and unsafe software application to the IaaS system. Yes, Easter, this is absolutely the thing that this kind of question is something which not every student would know. And that is why we are solving this kind of question to give you the uh, idea about the technology, that if some kind of question or the industry in the upcoming attempt is related to the technology, how you can handle it. And if in any other industry as well we are getting this kind of question, right, how we are going to deal with it, that we are going to apply as much as possible our knowledge, right, try to score the maximum possible marks from it within the allocated time and move to the other question. Simple as that. Because obviously we cannot do much about these kind of question, but the wasting of time on it is from nowhere a very sensible approach. Right, so the better would be to leave these kind of question for the end and then attempt it, because it will demotivate you, it will lower your morale, and it will also waste your time. And obviously I'm coming up with the point because I have done the research. This is a very clear thing. So you don't need to get demotivated that I'm not getting the points, because obviously you have not done the research. I have done the research before attempting this question. So you have to be very clear about it, that there is nothing or no fault on your part or the student's part. Is that, are we clear? And the other students as well. That is why I'm saying that if you are having any doubt, any confusion, please do discuss it with me, and I'm trying to, explain in detail as much as possible. All right. So the thing is that the application layer, again, this is the layer which is basically the application layer where the application or the operating software is integrated with the data, right? The risk is that, or the issue is that the if the issue is within the data of the customer, it can stick or spread into our data. If there is issue in our system, it can spread to the customer data. There is a control that we will check and investigate the softwares and the application of the client before connecting it with our data centers. But what about if we have the issue and the client or customer is being affected? Don't you think that the client would sue us? Hmm? See, this thing is not the technical. This was the something, if you are able to understand this thing, if you are able to read it with a very calm mind, you can come up with this. That what about the other way around? No, Apurva, we are not providing the SaaS as a service. We are only providing IaaS. So for the application layer, this is a layer which connects the client's software and application to our IaaS. It was operating system. Contains issue, then it can spread to our systems as well, right? This is something which I have written very general that it could happen, but now I will discuss or connect it with the case as well, that there is a control in place to investigate and approved the software or systems to be used on the IaaS system. Now the recommendation part. What do you guys think about the recommendation? Give me the recommendation. I have just discussed this thing with you. The recommendation can be, there should be no antivirus. No, there should be a control to detect our IaaS system, that if it is infected, then it can cause harm to customer data, customer software or application. And what about that your control gets failed? Even if you have designed the control, that the systems or the application are being checked before being connected to your system, but still something wrong happens, something bad happens. Do we have the backups? There should be backups. There should be backup maintained in case of the failure of the control, right? Yes, offline backups, obviously. Apurva is saying software audit, technological audits, that we didn't we mentioned above, where we were, exchanging the data. We did, I guess. Now we have the last layer, that is the data layer. Client data held and processed on our system is most likely target for cyber attacks. Okay, so the integrity of the client data must be fundamentally purpose of our security measure. Any data loss will erode client trust in the business model and could result in a significant downturn in the business activity with a consequent deterioration in the financial performance. Data breaches could also expose the company to regulatory fines and other legal sanction. This is the information they have provided us. So the data layer is basically where the data is being stored, right? This is the last layer. Firewalls, they have placed flow of incoming and outgoing data on the IaaS system. Vigorous procedure to ensure the secure access and integrity of the client data held on the IaaS system. And right now, we have not even identified any breaches in the data layer. We have identified the breach on the perimeter layer. So that we have mentioned. But here, I do not think there is any kind of recommendation which we need to give. But the other thing is that when we do not have anything, we will just mention that the regular updates. Good, Esther. Yes. See, what I appreciate about her is that all of you know that this is a bouncer question, but you guys are not trying anything to come up with. It would be wrong, it would be correct. Apurva is trying, Easter is trying, but the other people, we have many in the meeting, but they are not trying anything at all. And believe me, this is where you would face difficulty in the exam, because these kind of question requires you to try. Let it be wrong, let it be half correct, but at least come up with something. Control the, I'm just rephrasing the information which is provided to me in my wording to explain or evaluate the data layer, and then I will be going towards the recommendation of the flaws into it. Place onto it to control the flow of the data, and also no breaches has been identified up till now at this layer. Further, there should be regular updates into these vigorous controls placed to ensure the integrity of the data. All right. This is how we can, in perimeter layer, since there has been the breach at this layer. So we are done with this. Now I need you guys to tell me if there is anything which you need to discuss specifically about these kind of question or this question or anything which you were not able to understand. Yes, yes. Good point is the Asfar. We can mention it here. The firewalls were not working since 10th July, which needs to be investigated and proper actions should be taken to safeguard the client's data. Is it correct now, Aswar? Yes. So now let's move forward. The other thing is that also it's fine. The other thing is that this data which you are owning, right? This is the property or the property or the asset of the client, and you are the custodian, right? So you have the responsibility to safeguard it. There's something relevant to this data layer as well. Rehan is saying firewall should be in place, access control should be set up, no breaches being identified as yet not doesn't mean that I should not update the control. Good, Rehan, good, perfect. So what time is it now? It's 10 and our class was from 7 to 10. So let's take 5 minutes break and then we will read the next question, and your assignment is to attempt that question at your own, and then we will just discuss the answer tomorrow. Do remind me this thing. Apurva, I did not get your point. So we will come back after 5 minutes at 10:10 p.m. Pakistan. The thing is that Easter we will read the next question. Okay, we will discuss it in detail, and also we will draft the properly, and then we will discuss it tomorrow and we will start our class. Okay, so we are back, and are you guys with me? Can you please confirm me through the chat that you are with me and we can continue? Maham, Shabnam, Rehan, Easter, Detri, Asfar, Ashik, Apurva. Okay. All right. So the next question, and believe me, this question will recharge you all, because in exam, what I have always noted that there is always one question or one part that is too much difficult. That scoring marks out of that question is nearly impossible. Rehan, I will comment on it. Just give me a minute. That scoring marks out of that part or that question is nearly impossible or very difficult. And what does the student do? They waste their time into it. And then when they move forward, they find out that the rest of the paper is actually relatively very easy. And that is the mark scoring area. So always, I recommend this thing to the student that please have a look at whole paper. Do not get stuck in one requirement or one question and waste the other area which are easy, which are relatively mark scoring, because we are not supposed to waste or fail our paper in trying to solve everything correctly. Our first target or first preference is to score more than 50 marks to pass the paper, and obviously to pass the paper with the good marks. But it is from nowhere sensibility that we would waste our time or mess up scoring, like being focused on one part and leaving other parts unanswered, right? So Rehan is saying, Rehan, senior management, if they are involved in this kind of thing at every instance, don't you think that it would be too much cost incurring? So the second part or the second question is, the NCTech board structure and membership has stayed unaltered since the company listed. It has been 5 years since then. See, here it is written. However, two board members are due to retire in the next year. The chair of the nomination committee believes that the consideration should be given to more diversity on the board as part of NCTech succession planning. He has asked you to advise him on the issues related to the board diversity. Write a briefing paper to the chair of the nomination committee which explains how NCTech could benefit from a more diverse board of director. 10 marks. Don't you think it is a repeat nature of question? Don't you think it was the similar question which we saw in the Codjets as well? Hmm? And I can say with guarantee that more than half of the students can answer this requirement very easily. Yes, and it is also easy. The diversity of the directors. Now we don't need to go to any exhibit, do we? Let us check. No, there is nothing related to the exhibit. So the thing is that we all can answer this kind of question. Diversity of the board. What benefit would it give to us or the NCTech? Now let us discuss this thing. If the board is diverse, if the board has the right balance, right kind of skills, ability, knowledge, experience, what would happen? It will enable you the, I would say, better decision making, better strategy making. Don't you think? It is for us, for it is for a non-executive director. I'm talking about the diversified board. So if the board is diversified, don't you think the board would be able to do the better decision making? How, Shabna, efficiency? Can you please explain? If the board is diversified, if the board has the required skills, knowledge, experience, don't you think the reputation would increase? The company's reputation would increase. It's a listed company. Don't you think the listed companies has the effect of their directors or the board composition on their share price? For example, if the company is very new and a very experienced, a very well-known director joined that company, don't you think that the company's share price would shoot up? Because the people would be expecting that this person would turn the fortune of the company into the good manners. Okay, good, Shabnam and Apurva. Yes, customers, investor would be attracted. Don't you think that if the board of directors are diverse, they would be able to provide you the good understanding of the whole industry in which you are working? Because they are diversified, they would know the all aspects of the industry, the technological aspect, marketing aspect, customer service, HR. And what else? What else? They can also do the better strategy making of the company, don't you think? And also, if you are having a diversified board of director, if you are having a diversified board of director, you would be able to attract the good resources as well. They would be thinking that the board of directors are diversified, the company is going to grow, they can also contribute to the growth of the company, and you will be able to attract more motivated and motivated and committed, dedicated resources. Yes, different levels of expertise coming together. And the other thing, if the board of directors are diversified, they would all have difference of opinion, different ways of doing the similar thing. Flexible approach. Yes, yes, this thing. Now, what they would be doing, they would be challenging their opinions. They would be doing a healthy debate over their opinions or the ways of doing things, and it would result in innovation. It would result in coming up with the better ideas or better ways of doing things, the flexibility. Now tell me that if the ACCA is giving you one hard question, it is compensating you in the very next question with the easy one. So, would it be a wise course of action to waste that time into such kind of questions? For me, it's a practice session. I would try to my best to explain you the answer or make you learn this art, how to at least write something in that question and get at least the maximum the marks which are bare minimum possible. Do we guys get it? Do we have any issue? Yes. So let me draft um, the points for you. This is question number 2, part A. It would be very great that if you guys can draft along with me so that we can save time and tomorrow we can solve the complete paper because we have tomorrow question number 2, part B, 3A, 3B. 2 from subject. The first benefit is better decision making. How it is going to be the better decision making? I need you guys to tell me how it is going to be the better decision making. Let me draft the pointers for you so that you can come up with the drafted answer tomorrow. Meanwhile, I'll draft the whole answer. Better decision making and the increased, I guess for 10 marks, 6 points are more than enough. Correct, Apurva. Correct, correct. When the board of directors are diversified, which means they have the different set of further being from the different background and mm, thinking methodology, there would be remedy to the group thinking approach. Now, what do I mean by this? This is a very important thing. Please listen to it. The board of directors have been unchanged from the 5 years. Don't you think that there would be a very much agreeing approach with them, that they would not be challenging them each other, they would not be going against each other, and they would be just thinking like a group and not thinking about the different ways or the innovation things? Group thinking, yes. Yes, good, Asfar. Nice, nice. Both Apurva and Asfar. As the board is unchanged since 5 years, therefore diversification of the board will help you create the healthy discussion and resulting in better decision resulting in challenging their ideas and approach and resulting in that better decision making. I know it's getting a bit long, but again, there's nothing technical I've written into it. The answer, I feel like if the answer is long, it is not a difficult for me. If the answer is technical, I have to think a lot. I have to, find out the points and like unnecessarily. Then it is difficult. So this is something which I am just typing. It is coming into my mind automatically. Increase reputation. Do you guys remember that we have the institutional investors? We have the institutional investors. Good point, Aswar. Good point. No, no, Apurva. The best advice thing is not about the reputation. Reputation thing is that it will have the impact on the thinking and increase your image. That by having the diversified board, the institutional, the reputation of NCTech would increase as the increase in front of institutional investors which holds investment into the company, and they appreciate the diversified composition of the board. Yes, diversified board definitely will increase the innovation. Is that further NCTech is listed on stock exchange. It will having diversified board will enhance shareholders or market confidence into the shares of into your shares, right? Because we all know that even if the company is not performing good, still sometimes um, the share price is high. Why? Because they have the belief on the director, they have the belief in the prospect of the company. This is why the board of directors and its diversity is very important thing. All right. Attraction of competent resource. So now I'm talking about the competent resource. I'm saying that if the board of directors are diversified, then it will send the positive signal about the growth perspective of the company, and it will attract the specialized and skilled workforce or resources which wants to contribute towards the success of the company and which are motivated to grow along with the company. If I would ask you to join a company who has a good prospects and the company who doesn't have the bright prospects, which company would you go? Asfar, which company would you go? Istar, Apurva, which company would you go? Maham? Obviously, the one which have the bright perspective. And this bright perspective, how would you know? Asfar will check the board of directors. Maham will check the board of directors. Easter will check the board of directors. That if they are diversified, if they are well composed, then the company would be growing in the future. Yes. Better understanding of the market. If I have the director, if I have a director um, who only has the information about the technology or the finance, would my company would be able to grow? Apurva, please make it complete, relevant, and updated to the market. Then your point would be very great. Good point, Apurva. Good point. So you have to draft this thing that experience. This experience in what thing? In all the sectors or in all the fields of the market there are, and then you will mention it as well, that we are talking about the finance, we are talking about the HR, we are talking about the marketing, we are talking about the technology, we are talking about the operation, we are talking about the cost, everything, they all do matter, right? When the company was founded there were only 3 technological director, but and then with the passage of time they expanded it, they involved more directors into it. Why? Because they know this thing that they need to diversify the board of directors, otherwise they cannot survive. Are we clear with this point? Is there anyone who has any issue or any misunderstanding or any confusion which you need to discuss with me? Please do ask. Yes. Effective strategy making. If the directors are well diversified, they have all the necessary skills and experience, they would be able to devise good strategies, right? And the last thing is that when the board is diversified, when the peoples of the different mind, different experience, different skill set, they combine, they challenge each other. When they challenge each other, when they challenge the ideas, like for example, if there is a routine nature of work, right? And it has been done in a similar way over the last 5 years, 10 years, 2 years. They would challenge it that why we should not do it other way around. Like for example, if we are lending from the bank, why shouldn't we issue the term deposit certificate? Why shouldn't we go towards the venture capitalist? These kind of questions are raised. Why we are not innovating, why we are not doing the research and development in these kind of department? So these kind of discussion happen when you have the diversified directors, when they are from the different backgrounds and they see things from the different perspective, right? Correct, Apurva, correct. New ideas and the new methods of doing things. All right. So this was the answer. See, um, I'm not sure how much time did we took. Like we completed the answer in 30 minutes. The complete answer. We read it, we discussed it, and I drafted it. I reviewed the answer. So how much easy it was. That is why it is a very big request to you guys that please in exam do not waste your time on a single question. If you think that this is a bouncer question, this is a time trap, move ahead, move forward. If the time allows you, come back and look at the requirement again. If it doesn't, leave it, because it was not going to give you any marks anyhow, right? Because in the Courgettes mock as well, the first requirement was like this, and those students who wasted their time in the first requirement, they were not able to attempt the last two questions, which were very easy, which were very marks scoring, right? The ratio analysis, the KPI analysis, we have been doing it since F7, SBR, everywhere. We were not able to do it. So please, it's a very big and humble request to you all. So let us wind up today's session, and we will meet tomorrow and try to finish this paper. If you guys have any question, any query, please do ask me, then we will wind up today's session. Again, thank you so much for joining, and I hope that this session was useful to you all. And if there is any recommendation, please do let me know.